This presentation is about the methodology to implement a data privacy in a standard organization using a data governance framework. Typically, many organizations who need a data privacy architecture into place will either start from a legal perspective or from a technical perspective, implementing systems first. I believe that we should, to be more effective and cost effective, we should start from a data governance perspective. Let me explain how. So first, data privacy is a global concern. Over 70% of countries have now implemented a data privacy legislation that's based on the UN website. We have to bear in mind that data privacy legislation are not that complex. They all have a core that is similar, and that core is about protection of individuals, not company, and it's about the need to justify the data we collect using a minimization. We only collect data we need from our private individuals. It's about securing that data so that there's no hacking of that data from external individuals. That data must be available to the private persons on request, and we can delete it upon request or when we don't need it anymore. Of course, there are some details that differ country by country, and the difficulty of implementation is to leverage what is central and common to all legislations and what is specific to a country legislation. And we'll explain how we can leverage that together. So a data privacy journey from a data governance perspective, for me, requires 5 steps. Step number 1 is about the hiring of a data privacy officer. The data privacy officer doesn't need to be coming from the legal department. It may be coming from the HR department or finance or internal control or projects or data office or IT even. And the data privacy officer is a SPOC, is a single point of contact for all data privacy matters from a change, project management perspective, technical perspective, legal perspective. That person has the capacity to answer all data privacy questions and to assemble, to gather all individuals, all competencies together so that we have a coherent data privacy ecosystem in the organization. The data privacy officer will then start and trigger the data privacy journey. Step number 2 is a gap analysis. A gap analysis, I mean, we need to understand what needs to be done to meet basic compliance requirements. We need how far are we in terms of processes, data, systems, so that we can meet basic requirements from the GDPR and other legislations. Third step, when we understand this gap, where we have provided this gap analysis, we can set a first data privacy policy. Data privacy policy will sketch what we consider as private sensitive data and non-sensitive data. For example, date of birth of our employees may or may not be considered as sensitive data. We set up a data retention policy. We establish where the data is and who has access to it. When we have this privacy policy into place, we can define the legal requirements. We need to understand what are the local requirements are, and if we meet them, and if we need support from legal persons. For example, some legal firms may protect us bring us some coverage against any liability we have if we don't meet the data privacy requirements. And the last step of this journey is about the technical specification, where we need to have a great technical environment, a technical architecture into place. And I will explain it in the next slide. So from a system or technical perspective, we need a number of systems that work together. First, we need master data and metadata management tools into place. Master data is, of course, to collect the data, like the employee data, in a secured environment, and that will include files as well as just data we input in. Metadata management is about all the data about the data, so that we have a tool that determines where our PII data resides and who can have access to it. From the metadata master data tool, we need a data encryption, which may be already in your master data metadata tool, or we call it a data governance system, because a number of providers now are giving an integrated data governance platform. Once data encryption, we may need an RPA, robotic process automation, to automate the deletion of the data. That's not a must-have, but it would be nice to have. We need probably an ETL to secure the interfaces, because that's probably a weak point of private data, is not the database themselves, but the interfaces between the databases. So 5 systems: metadata, master data, including data files management, data encryption technology, RPA, and ETL technology are required to have a robust data privacy interface. So with these systems in place, an effective data privacy requires a good ecosystem. So we have the systems together, we have multiple roles being synchronized together from legal, IT, HR, data security, and maybe other departments. We need a federated data architecture so that we, as we've seen earlier, we can have a shared policy for the group globally, at the same time being able to cope with specific local requirements. And a third objective, a third requirement of that ecosystem is to have a shared objective communicated through the organization with a vision, policies, and a solid training program for all. Thank you.